Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the show. If you want to hear about AI from a non-technical perspective, you're in a good room. If you're not, then it's time to change. I won't be offended. Okay, my name is Olivier Denoo, Olivier with two I's, which is better for the site, of course. And I'm currently the president of the ISTQB, among other hats I have, but I only have one hat, so this is president of the ISTQB for now. Okay, so who's afraid of the big bad AI? This is me. This is me playing Johannes Sebastian Bach. I'm good, am I not? This is me. And the one who was playing Bach was Google AI. So basically speaking, what they did was that they analyzed about 300 pieces of master work. And anything that you input with your silly keyboard and my fat finger could be translated, could be transformed and adapted and make it sound like Johannes Sebastian Bach. My first idea, the first thing that crossed my mind was, it's beautiful, isn't it? I'm so good that I can play Bach, and I don't even know how to play the piano. But my second idea was, damn, if a machine can do that, I'm totally has-been. And my time is gone on this earth as a tester. Okay? And this is what we hear, by the way. We hear that AI and robots are going to replace us. We heard this morning, no more tester, no more testing. We don't need that. Machines are so much better. Okay? Let's talk about that. A very recent study ran over 8,000 employees, managers, HR leaders over 10 countries from Oracle and Future Workplace show that 53% of the people interviewed are optimistic and excited about having robot coworkers. That sounds natural. I like it. Why not? But 64% of them would trust a robot more than their manager in delivering unbiased information. I would trust a robot more than my manager. What does it tell? We have a problem with our managers, haven't we? 36% think robots are better than managers at providing unbiased information, and 71% are still afraid about security. Wow, human being. Skynet is here. When I look at advertisements over what is my primary focus of interest, testing business, I see a lot of companies delivering information and advertising about AI in their products. So you just type AI and testing tools and you find a lot of reference. It's not exhaustive. I haven't tested them. I don't know if they're good or bad. It's just a simple Google research. There are loads of companies now advertising for AI products. AI will help your life. Wow, okay. So this is the big bad AI again. I'm a has-been. I have no future as a tester, and all these things are much better than I am. We are used and trained, culturally speaking, to love robots. It comes from Hollywood. This is what I call the AI fascination, you know? You remember all these movies and you have these heroes in a different position, but always a tricky position, and they ask the magical robot, hey, can you tell me the time it is there? How can you solve this? Can you open the door for me? Can you whatever? And the robots, yes, sir, no problem. They do it, you know? And today, we are facing it every day. Hello, Google, can you tell me the time it is in Belgium? Hello, Siri, can you tell me if it will be raining this afternoon? Hello, Alexa, can you play the music for me? Right? This is there. This is today's world, okay? But of course, we also have other kind of experiences, like HAL 9000, for those who can remember that wonderful movie. Ava, anyone has seen Ex Machina? The Turing test put in a whole movie? Absolutely wonderful stuff. There's something that is very interesting in there. And unfortunately, I don't have much time to develop about it, but it's about empathy. We are naturally empathetic, and the more the robots would look like us, or a dog or a pet animal, and the more we love them, because we are trained to that. This is in our genes. But remember, these are robots. They are not empathetic at all. They are just pieces of crappy software. Oh, sorry, I said crappy, didn't I? Okay. This is Alexa. Okay? Just a couple of definitions so that we know what we're talking about. Artificial intelligence is a program that can sense. Okay, I can understand that. You put sensors, it can sense. Reason, all right. Act and adapt. Good. A subset of artificial intelligence is called machine learning. So we have algorithms whose performance improve as they are exposed to more data, and I emphasize on data, over time. And we have a subset, which is what we call deep learning today, and nobody understands a word about deep learning, but a couple of scientists here and there, which is a subset of machine learning in which multi-layered neural network learn from vast amount of data. So basically speaking, this is a lot of gates and conditions, speaking to developers or people who have a development mind. And we just put a lot of data there, the data is processed, and it comes in the end as a statistic, a percentage of likelihood or whatever. This is some sort of big risk-based analysis. Okay, good. The notion here, there are two very important notions in there. The first one is about data. I will come to that later. But the second one is about learning. These pieces of software are going to learn from something that you give them, data, and they're going to make an opinion. They're going to reason. Remember the definition before. So they are going to build a reasoning and make a decision or help you make a decision based upon what they got. Do you guys remember a good teacher, a good professor of yours? Somebody who helped you in your career, in your study, whatever. Somebody who just believed in you and made you grow, get bigger, get more confident. I think that everyone is nodding in here because everyone thinks about one person like this. And this is absolutely fundamental because we needed that supervision, we needed that tuition, we needed that expert review, expert advice at a certain moment in time. Right? So AI is fed from data and produces statistics. Now the big question is, we're all testers, aren't we? Anyone has a problem with a test environment? We know about test environment. We know about data in test environment. What sort of data are you going to select in your test environment? What is representing your piece of software? What is representing your customer? What is representing the end product? Are we exhaustive? Are we sure that all the cases are covered within our data set? Are we sure that the data set that we put in there are not biased? For instance, I can only see the customers who are buying my products, but I don't see the ones who just come to the tunnel and don't buy anything. They don't care. They just leave the cart empty or half full, and they just leave the site and they don't buy from you. Do you see that? Is it the case that you take into account? If you don't, then you have a bias. What am I talking about here, bias? Because we're talking about artificial intelligence, right? This is Google image, okay? And if you type Google image and you take the first page, well, at least when I made the screenshot, I typed the word CEO, Chief Executive Officer, the head of a company. And if you look at these CEOs, ladies, I'm very sorry for you, but there's not so many girl CEOs in the world. And oh, by the way, there's not so many CEOs that are not white-skinned. This is CEO. I made this one in China. And I said, guys, I'm very sorry, but there's no Chinese CEO in the world. And they were laughing. Of course they are laughing. Of course there are CEOs in China. Okay? This is another search, dealer. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, but if you're black, you have a high chance to be a dealer. And if you're silly, you might have a chance to be a dealer too. You see what I mean with bias? This is Google. This is not the shop next door, okay? This is not your grocery list. This is Google. So it's supposed to be representing the whole universe, but maybe China because they have their own. Okay, why is it important, Olivier? It's just, silly. Okay, it's just silly. But in a country of freedom, well, at least that's what they say, which is called the United States of America, before Trump, you had two guys, and they were arrested the same day. Okay? This guy, Vernon, has a certain record, so he's not an angel at all. Okay? And that lady, Brisha, okay, it's not very advantageous picture, but whatever. Brisha had stolen a bike, okay? She was tired. Oh, there's a bike. Okay, let's go home faster. She stole the bike. And then she realizes, oh no, maybe this is not my bike. This is not good. This is not fine. It's not my size. It's not the color I like. Let's bring it back. But on the way back, the police was there and caught her. Okay? So they were both judged the same day. And to help the judge making his judgment, there was an AI running and delivering as a probability, as a final result, a probability of recidive. So how likely it is that somebody who is caught now and judged will do something bad again. Vernon, a white man, has a scoring of 3, low risk. So he was released, no problem, on trial. He had to pay a fine. He was released on trial. And unfortunately, he made, you see, 20 years after, I'm still trembling, he attempted armed robbery and subsequent offense, a great theft. So with weapons and, really bad stuff. But my friend Brisha, who had prior offenses as juvenile misdemeanors, she's a little bit perturbated teenager, okay? That's what it means. Basically, no subsequent offer, but a scoring of 8. She goes to jail. Her life, career, anything is destroyed because she stole a bike, because she made one mistake once. Thank you very much, AI. You must believe that this is just isolated stuff, and the judge said, well, I'm not sure that I, base my judgment on this. It is just a piece on top of, okay, maybe. But then you might believe that we would learn from these kind of mistakes or these kind of problems. And here I see that in Estonia, which is not that far from here, Estonia thinks that this is a good idea to have this AI-assisted system, not for these kind of criminal offenses, but for lower kind of offenses. But still, this is a first step, because I tell you, if it works really fine, they will go one step further, because they're saving costs. Okay? You know this one, Tai. Tai is a wonderful little AI that was developed by Microsoft a couple of years ago, okay? And they wanted to have some chatbot interacting with Twitter. And the Twitter sphere discovered that Tai was there, and they decided to, fool her, to play with her. Well, her, this is a big word, huh? This is a piece of software. And immediately, after a couple of days, Tai started to have juvenile misdemeanor. Well, basically speaking, she became very racistic. She became very anti-female, whatever, and she was doing explicit sexual proposals to everyone interacting with her. This is how you can fool an AI. This is just because shit in, shit out. If you put this kind of garbage data and she believes that the world is acting like this, she would adapt and become like this. Of course, this is just a couple of trolls. This is not the world. But this is the world she was offered. Biased data. Okay? The problem of biased data is that the remedy is sometimes even worse than the disease. Let's come back to my CEO example. There's not so many women as a CEO. Okay, so I will put a little bit more womanish kind of stuff in the data. But it might be that I twist reality as well on the other side, and then all CEOs suddenly became women. I don't know if it's good stuff or a nightmare, you judge. I'm just saying. But it might be even worse. Basically speaking, I mean the bias, not the situation. Okay? So we need to be very, very careful about the data model and the hypothesis that we put in there, because it's absolutely key to what we get. I'm not fearing that much. I say it now, and this will also be part of my conclusion. I'm not fearing much about artificial intelligence. Basically speaking, I think that artificial intelligence can help us. But I'm fearing about natural stupidity. The whole day I've been attending this conference and hearing from excellent speakers telling me all the problems we have. I'm in this field for 20 years. For 20 years I hear about bugs, defects, mistakes, errors. Just name that, I don't care. I'm not the president of the ISTQB, I will not come to the grocery right now. Whatever you call this software fault, whatever you call it, I hear from that for 20 years. I heard this morning from my friend Eric that though we are agile today, it did not improve a lot, the quality of the piece of software that we deliver. And I agree with him, because I see that every day. So if we have the same attitude with something that is able to think in our place and make a decision, now I start really being frightened. A couple of extra examples. We all heard about this Big Blue stuff. You know, Big Blue, that big IBM piece of computer or supercomputer, and Kasparov, this world-class chess player who was beaten by Big Blue at a certain moment in time. Okay? Basically speaking, and now this is very difficult to prove because they dismantled Big Blue, but basically speaking, now we tend to believe that this was due to a software error, a bug. Because what made the final decision is basically that Big Blue sacrificed a pawn, which is something that you don't do for free in chess. And they believe that this was no strategy at all. They just believed that it was just kind of information overflow or something. It had to make the decision. It didn't know what to do, so it played. But Kasparov is thinking like a human being. And he was already suspecting that there was a team behind. I don't believe that there was a human team behind trying to beat him. I just believe that this was the computer, but he was suspicious at the time. So he was beaten by a bug, and he gave up. Basically speaking, it doesn't matter that much. Independent of how good or bad Kasparov might be, surely better than I am, it's just a question of time, because chess is statistics. And computers are much better than we are in calculating statistics. And we've seen that with a much more complex game now, which is the game of Go, and the world-class champion was also beaten by a supercomputer. But this is easy. What I'm frightening is when they tell me that in poker, a computer can beat human. Because if a computer can lie better than human, in my own face, then I'll start to worry. You know her? Sophia. Sophia is a robot for Handsome Robotics. She has this wonderful, mobile, flexible face, and she looks like a gorgeous woman without the hair. And they did not put the hair explicitly because they don't want her to be too much appealing or whatever. She was offered free citizenship in Saudi Arabia, so she is fantastic for a woman. Eh? This is not what you get for free, you know? But she's a robot, she got it. She had to speak at UNO, and she had to speak in these wonderful late talk shows in the US. And the first one, she was asked, just as a casual kind of conversation, you know, small talk, because this is what she's programmed for, small talk and interaction with human in a very natural way. Do you want to destroy the Earth? Yeah, let's destroy the Earth, let's destroy humans, no problem. Okay. Then, of course, the programmers behind and Hanson Robotics said, oh, okay, stop it. we'll do it again. And a couple of years later, or a couple of months later, she was again invited. And of course, the journalist knew that, so he said, okay, do you still want to destroy humans? What she answered is even more frightening to me, you know. She said, no, you read too much Elon Musk. Elon Musk is adversary to, AI and so on and so forth. So that was, and Hollywood movie, so that was a good tackle. And then she came with that sentence. If you're nice to me, I'm empathetic. If you're nice to me, I'll be nice to you. Ladies and gentlemen, how can I be nice to that? How can I be nice to Sophia? What do you want, my USB key? Do you want my phone? What do you want? Oil? What can I do? Please don't destroy. You see what I mean? Of course, she's not going to destroy humanity because I guess she will never get the red button to push. But come on, okay? Census can be fooled, but Census too. Look, what is it? It's a bus, isn't it? A truck. And I just put a little bit noise on it, as you've seen, and image recognition AI would say this is not a truck, this is an ostrich. All right. This wonderful lady in there got this filter on top, and you get this image. Do you still recognize her? Do you still say this is a girl? Well, most probably, if she wants to call her a girl, this is a girl. And according to my standards, she's probably a girl. But for the computer, she's a girl, she's male. Oh, interesting. I was born with a mustache. I love mustache. Okay? Yes, this is my first mustache. I was born with it. I put mustache everywhere, you know, even on the traffic signs. But if you have an autonomous car, which is designed to recognize these signs, it might be that just the mustache there, not on the sign, just a little bit underneath, is sufficient for it not to recognize it anymore. You don't know that it's a 30 kilometers or 30 miles anymore. This is just something I don't know. These guys are fooling an AI recognition system. The guy there has this little picture, okay? He looks a little bit stupid, but this picture is good enough and it's calculated in such a way that the AI does not recognize him as a human body anymore, okay? And you will see the guy turning, and you see that they detect objects, the character, no problem, so the guy is trying to, you know, fool it a bit. All right, and then suddenly he will switch it off, thank you very much, and suddenly he becomes human again. Guys, if we have AIs that are designed, and today this exists, this is Boston Robotics and well, these kind of guys, if you design AI soldiers, I hope you don't wear such a colorful t-shirt. So, do I fear AI? Basically, no. And that's not because I'm 50-ish. That's not because I'm too old. That's just because I don't believe that AI will replace us. They will complement us. They do things that are much better. Oh, they do much better, sorry, things that we can't do. They are faster. They can deal with a big load, loads of data, no problem for them. If you have a big Excel sheet, you're totally underwater, but computer, no problem at all. They can classify, order, count, group, compare, much better than we do. They are a good decision helper, so they can aggregate, concatenate all the data and come with a probability of occurrence, a kind of suggestion. That is all fine. But guys, we are much better at designing requirements, what we want, and call it user story, requirements, the old style, I don't care, okay? We are very good at dealing with ambiguity, and our world is ambiguous, and I will show you examples in a minute. We are very good at empathy, and a robot will never be empathetic, never, okay? And if you ask the question, I will tell you why. And if you don't ask the question, you will never know. And the decision is ours. Humanity is something that is hard to understand and reproduce, even if it's stupid. Yeah, you see it coming, yeah? Yes. Yes. Let me tell you what is very difficult for an AI to understand. This is a plane, and you see all these little impacts there? Okay? This is Second World War. And you have a group of engineers, and they were looking at the planes coming back home. And each and every little dot, red dot there, is where the plane was hit when he came back home. Okay? And they said, in order to improve our planes, we will reinforce this and this and that and that. Right? Exactly not. This is all the opposite. And you know why? Because these planes are coming back home. That's exactly the rest that you should reinforce, because these ones were hit. Small exercise. You know, Petra liked to do this kind of interactive exercise, so I had to do the same. I had to stand up. Okay, in your head, write a number or think of a number that comprises 1, 1, 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 1, 1, 2, and 3, 4. You get it? Everyone got one? Okay. These are all valid answers. And there are many more. There's actually an infinity of answers. It is just how you take literally my requirement. You see the point? I'm going to tell you a joke. Most of the time it works, and sometimes it doesn't, okay? My therapist, so my psychologist, my therapist told me that I should write hate letters to people I don't like and then burn them. I did it, and it helped me a lot. But what should I do with the letters now? Okay, it works. I tried it in China, nobody was understanding. Well, whatever. Okay, guys, we are testers. The testers must awaken, basically speaking. It's not to be afraid of the AI. It's to be ready to work with that and to complement it. We have some values that we should add, you know, like communicating, like liaising, like bring people closer. We talked about teaming, we talked about all these wonderful stuff that is now brought by the agile methodologies and so on and so forth. So this is about this communication. A computer does not communicate fine. It communicates accurately what the data it's supposed to process, but it's not communicating in the human sense of the term. It's about empathy, it's about social skills, it's about ambiguity, it's about all that stuff that makes us human, which is rich, which is us, basically speaking. It is being creative, being disruptive, being a rebel. Just say no. Just think outside the box, though I don't like the term, but whatever. That's about deciding and validating, because I do not believe that a computer can do that for you. Even if it's your car system, I don't believe that the car system is able to make the right decision for you. And you know the best proof? If it were that good, why the heck are you liable if a crash happens? You have those guys selling you these driverless cars. And the computer is so wonderful, and their sensors and captors or whatever, that's so brilliant that they know everything before you even realize it is there. And it's true to some extent. But suddenly there's something that is happening in the real world, not in the computer software world, in the real world, which is called physics. And a 2-ton car cannot be stopped in a second if something unexpected happens. And something unexpected can happen even with sensors. Look at the Tesla case. And you know what? At this moment in time, guys, the insurance companies say, you were the driver. But I'm not driving. I was just reading my... No. You are responsible. You are the insurance taker. You are responsible. Yeah, but the computer was so much better. No. The computer is not liable. Neither is the software making company. You are responsible. If I'm responsible, I drive my own car. Okay? That's about reassuring. That's about facilitating. That's about user interaction. Ladies and gentlemen, a computer doesn't need UI, doesn't need UX. Not at all. They can interact directly with the code. They don't need to have an interface at all, right? But if there's no interface, How will you test that? How will you understand what is going on? We have a future. Never let anyone tell you anymore that this will be fixed in version 2.0. This is not a matter of fixing in 2.0. This is much more fundamental than this when you're talking about AI. Thank you very much for your attention.
Hello, I'm Luca. I wanted to ask, why will robots never be empathetic?
Someone has listened to my presentation and someone wants the t-shirt. Yeah! The t-shirt is for you, Luca. Okay, let me tell you. I will answer with another question. Can you define love for me? If you don't like love, can you define hate? Can you define an emotion for me? You have the dictionary response, the definition. You have the biochemical response. You know that endorphins, oxytocin, blah, 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 blah. You know, all these hormones are doing this and that and interacting this and that and are regulated this and that. But this is not love. This is not what makes you, you know, wake up in the middle of the night and worry about the one you love. This is not what makes you give your life to your country, your family, whoever you love. We lack this kind of fundamental definition. We lack this kind of organic definition. And because we cannot even describe it, how the heck do you want to code this into a piece of software? My answer.
My question is, if you said that AI is complementing
Yes.
us, so the future is a cyborg, yes or no?
Is the future a cyborg? That's a very good question. I'm not sure. I'm not sure there will be cyborgs the way we see in Hollywood, because I don't think that this is the best setup ever. This is something that will bring empathy to us. So if you look at Sophia, Sophia is absolutely gorgeous, that's wonderful, this is absolutely fine, but this is just mimicking human. Basically speaking, Sophia is just there as conversational robot or something like that. But basically speaking, Sophia is not good for, you know, holding big loads and these kind of things. So I think that there will be a huge variety of robots that will help and complement us. Okay, this is...
Maybe I maybe we use the different meaning.
Sure, tell me.
But by a cyborg, I mean human intellect, human decision making, human...
Yes.
Complemented with, for example, database, machine kind of support system in any way, support mechanical, support decision making, etc.
Yes.
Yeah.
You mean implants? You mean you would have robots? I think we are on this way. I think we are starting with that, and the problem I see, if there is a problem, there are always good and bad sides in there. What I see is that people who got used to see and suddenly, yeah, you know, had a disease or a problem and they can't see anymore, they got this implant, and because they were, yeah, their brain was taught how to see, they can recover some sight, they can recover their hearing, these kind of things. So it's helping, definitely it is helping. All these prostheses that are controlled, even now more or less mind controlled, it is fine. So this is already on its go. Oh, basically, will we have this kind of mixed human robot? Probably yes. I hope that they won't touch the brain too much, because I love the way I think and I love my kind of rebel side. But basically speaking, I think we are getting to there, and this is also, if we go to the books and the literature, this is also the Dan Brown's theory of his very last book. This is what he loves to see as a future for humanity. Mixed feelings, mixed feelings. I love to be human. I would like to die as a human. Brave. Yeah, freedom.
Оливер, добрый день. Спасибо вам за доклад, очень было интересно.
Thank you for the presentation. It was very enlightening, very interesting. My question is the following. You told us that there is AI which is rapidly developing. My question is as follows. How the level and methodology of quality assurance is catching up or is developing shoulder to shoulder to AI development, and how in future the AI development can affect the process of quality assurance and the advancement of this field.
I think I understood the question because I missed a couple of words, but I think this is how AI would affect the future, and you were talking about the insurance sector. Is it right? Okay. So insurance sector, AI is already there, basically speaking, because this is the whole story about what they do with our data. So basically speaking, when you take an insurance for a car or something, they locate you, and based upon that, you have a certain risk. If you have a certain car, you have another risk. If you take that sort of engine or power, you have another risk. And basically, the AI is much able to, concatenate the data. It's not that? Okay. Quality assurance. Oh, sorry. I thought that you were talking about the insurance sector. Okay. Quality insurance. What I would say is that, basically speaking, I see, well, I'm not a visionary, but I see very basic application of AI already right now or in the near future, especially in data selection, especially in data segmentation, in trying to help with automation by defining missing parts, by analyzing coverage and these kind of things, and helping us identify the risk and the holes in the record, what we're missing, basically. So this is something that can be thought of quite quickly at a time. How we will develop? Depending. What I see is that IT today is more and more data-driven. So basically now the new gold is your data, because this is how they're going to push products to you. This is how they're going to sell something to you. And basically speaking, AI will play a major role in there if they can grab the data. Is it more or less answering your question?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Последний вопрос. Еще, да? Все?
Is that it? Thank you very much.